Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Women's Advanced Bible Study night of the 30th of November, 2023. And the class title for the class is the history of Gaza and Palestine. Okay, so you go to our YouTube channel. We have like 700 videos with a lot of information. You know, these videos connect a lot of dots for you. So to get an opportunity, you can check them out. You know, our hours of operation was Tuesday nights. We have advanced Bible study for everybody. Anybody can come in and then on Tuesday night, Wednesday nights we have that's at 8 o'clock Central Time to 10 o'clock Central Time. Then we have reading through the Tanakh on Wednesday nights. We do a lot of reading out of the scriptures out of the Old Testament. That's 8 o'clock Central to 10 o'clock on Wednesday nights, and then Thursday nights we got our Women's Advanced Bible Study night. It's from 8 to 10 Central Time. Then Friday nights we have Clubhouse Men's Advanced Bible Study on Clubhouse, and the Clubhouse channel is Non-Messianic Conversations. Then we come back on Saturday on the Sabbath. We have two classes, one in the morning at 10 to 12, and then we close the Sabbath for 6 to 7 that evening. Okay, so with that being said, I want to say this is the Non-Messianic channel. For those that don't know, and by that I mean we deal with the Old Testament, the Tanakh, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah, the first 5 books of the Old Testament. Okay, so I want to say shalom and welcome to everybody. Welcome to the channel, and excuse me. So, welcome to our Women's Advanced Bible Study night. So we're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, prayer, Psalms. We got some women's health moment. Then we do some current events, and then we go into our Q&A, and then we'll go to the class. So with that being said, this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance on these last days. Oh Lord, we come before you at this hour, praising you and honoring you because of your position both in heaven and upon the earth, a position in which the Creator Yahweh have given unto thee. And through your spirit and counsel, O Lord, we have awakened to know who we are as a people and who you are as our Savior and our Redeemer. And we are thankful for all that you have done, and we are eagerly searching out the scriptures that we may be at the right place at the right time upon your arrival to this planet. We love you, O Lord, and we seek you daily, and there is none else besides thee to redeem us. When we see you in the affairs of the world, and we faithfully await your deliverance. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, we got to read the Psalms.
Yes, shalom. I'm going to be reading. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I'm sorry. I have my headphones on. I'm going to be reading Psalms 86. I'm sorry, my Bible closed. I'm a little nervous. Okay.
Take your time. Take your time.
Psalms 86, a prayer of David. Bow down thine ear, O Lord. Hear me, for I am poor and needy. Preserve my soul, for I am holy. O thou my God, save thy servant that trusteth in thee. Be merciful unto me, O Lord, for I cry unto thee daily. Rejoice the soul of thy servant, for unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. For thou, Lord, art good and ready to forgive, and plenteous in mercy unto all them that call upon thee. Give ear, O Lord, unto my prayer, and attend to the voice of my supplications. In the day of my trouble I will call upon thee, for thou wilt answer me. Among the gods there is none like unto thee, O Lord, neither are there any works like unto thy works. All nations who come whom thou hast made, shall come and worship before thee, O Lord, and shall glorify thy name. Verse 10. For thou art great and doest wondrous things. Thou art God alone. Teach me thy way, O Lord. I will walk in thy truth. Unite my heart to fear thy name. I will praise thee, O Lord, my God, with all my heart, and I will glorify thy name forevermore. For great is thy mercy toward me, and thou hast delivered my soul from the lowest hell. O God, the proud are risen against me, and the assemblies of violent men have sought after my soul, and have not set thee before them. But thou, O Lord, art a God full of compassion and gracious, long-suffering, and plenteous in mercy and truth. O turn unto me, and have mercy upon me. Give thy strength unto thy servant, and save the son of thine handmaid. Show me a token for good, that they which hate me may see it and be ashamed, because thou, Lord, hast helped me and comforted me.
Okay. You have any comments on that?
Oh, just verse 8 stood out to me. Among
Okay.
the gods, there is none like unto thee, O Lord, neither are there any works like unto thy works. And I just, David says throughout the scriptures about there's none like the, like in First Chronicles, verse 17 and 20, it says, O Lord, there is none like thee, neither is there any God beside thee, according to all that we have heard with our ears. And I had a couple
Okay.
other
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah. He does. He does say that, and like I was saying, people assume that that's the Creator, but it's not. It's the Lord of hosts. And he says he continue to tell you over and over again that he's the Savior. He's not the Creator. I'm the Savior. I'm the Redeemer. So yeah. Okay. So with that being said, we're gonna go into our Women's Health Moment.
Yes, sir. Shalom, everyone. Please know that the information that is shared is intended for general, informational, and educational purposes only and is not medical advice or recommended treatment. Tonight's discussion is on the benefits of aloe vera. Aloe vera is a thick, short-stemmed plant that stores water in its leaves. Inside the leaves of this plant lies aloe vera gel. It is the gel that has been used for medical purposes for centuries. This gel is mostly made up of water, as much as 99%, which is why once it evaporates on the skin, you feel a cooling effect. The remaining 1% contains a huge amount of nutrients that are amazing for the skin. These include vitamins A, C, and E, which are antioxidants, vitamin B12, folic acid, enzymes, fatty acids, and minerals such as calcium, magnesium, and zinc. Aloe vera has a wide variety of benefits, but it is best known for treating scrapes, cuts, and burns. But did you know that aloe vera can be even more beneficial to your body when taken internally? Here are a few amazing health benefits of the aloe vera plant. Aloe helps in detoxification. It enhances antioxidant support. Aloe vera is great for your hair and skin. Aloe vera has long been used for its remarkable ability to support skin health. Aloe vera gel can help soothe minor skin irritations such as dry, chapped skin by increasing the collagen production at the site of the irritation. Additionally, the compounds found in aloe vera have been known to support moisture retention, skin health, and collagen production, which can help your skin remain smooth and glowing. It supports a healthy immune system. It improves the air quality in your home. Aloe vera might be one of the best plants to keep in your home for a number of reasons, but one of the best reasons is the fact that it can help remove harmful pollutants from the air that are often found in most household chemicals. It kills germs. It supports a healthy digestion. To reap the full benefits of aloe vera for your skin, use 100% pure organic aloe vera gel, either store bought or extracted from the plant itself. So whether you're seeking a natural product to enhance your skincare routine or aiming to boost your overall health, aloe vera might just be the medicinal solution you've been searching for. I will be reading from Sirach chapter 18, verses 1 through 3. So, chapter 18 in Sirach, it says, He who lives forever created all things in common. Verse 2, the Lord alone will be justified, and there is no other besides him. Verse 3, he guides the world with his hand, and everything obeys him. He is the king of all things, and his power separates what is holy from what is not. Tonight's discussion was on the benefits of aloe vera, and I read Sirach chapter 18, verses 1 through 3. Shalom.
Okay, yeah, we appreciate that information. Okay, so we're gonna go into our current events. Okay, and I was talking earlier, a couple of months ago, when they was having all these coups, and how those people were separating themselves. Well, Mali was one of them, and they just made it just seemingly a serious deal with Russia. Check it out.
You remember Niger? We spoke about Niger many, many times. Yeah. Guess what is the fastest growing economy in the world right now? Niger is the fastest growing economy in the world. Congratulations. Yeah. That's what happens with change. Don't be afraid of the dark. Be careful with things. Not everybody's trying to guide you, baby. Now, what happened exactly? Niger used to sell a lot of uranium to France, and France set the price. You remember Niger? This is a beautiful country, Niger, on the map. We're just going to put the map so some of our people can understand where Niger is. I know we don't always know. Lovely place, very hot indeed. They sold their uranium to France exclusively, and France set the price. So I'm selling you my stuff, but you set the price because you colonized me. So because you colonized me and you taught me how to speak French, now you can set my price. Niger, for some of you know, we spoke about this very, very much. They toppled the president named Mohamed Bazoum. After toppling the president, they changed the price of uranium. Uranium, for those of you who don't know, is used for nuclear power. It's used for electricity. Okay, people use electricity created by uranium. Niger sold most of his electricity or most of his uranium to France exclusively. France produced electricity, then France sold electricity to some of the countries in Europe. Meanwhile, Nigerians had no electricity back home. That's how it happened. Until the military government took over power and kicked off the president that wasn't working for the people. Now Niger has become the fastest growing economy in the world. Congratulations. They've upped the price. No more favors to nobody. No more helping people because they taught you how to speak French and eat pizza. Not pizza. What that stupid cheese again? Whatever. Yeah. No more of that. That's how now Niger is the fastest growing economy in the world. Unfortunately, there still are some of the poorest country in the world, or one of the poorest country in the world, but definitely one of the fastest growing economy. Awesome stuff. So now we're going to talk about Mali. Remember Mali? Here's Mali, a map of Mali, beautiful place. I know some of our brothers don't know where this is, so we can understand. Africa is a big continent. Okay, we have like 54 countries. It's a big continent, different cultures, different tradition, different people, lots of things. If you've never been to Africa, I encourage you to come and visit, come have a look. You will love it, from Ghana to Tanzania, from Morocco to South Africa. Lovely place to be. Okay, so what happened in Mali? Mali has just signed a contract. Guess with who? With Russia, about developing a refinery of gold for production. So Mali has signed a contract with Russia for producing gold. Mali has lots of gold, and unfortunately, for many, many years, like many other African countries, Mali will take gold and whatever product it is, they will send overseas, or they will send to Europe or any other country. That's where they're going to work on the product, impoverishing the people in the country. Now, Russia is willing to come to Mali and construct a refinery with Mali in order to produce gold for the Malian people. Congratulations! Yeah! So Mali military government has officially entered into an agreement with Russia, invading plans for a state-of-the-art gold refinery project to be established in the Malian capital, Bamako. The deal, which spans 4 years, includes the construction of a refinery capable of producing a substantial 200 tons of gold annually. Congratulations, Malian. Fellas, let me put it this way. I'm going to break it very easily for you guys, okay, so you can understand. Mali, like Burkina Faso and Niger, were tired of their president because presidents seem to be working for its own interest and for the interest of foreign nations. Yes, Malian people were very impoverished while the countries had so much gold. And the gold obviously was sent to other countries. Now the Malians have chosen to create their own refinery. Many years before that, the gold was exported to France and many other European countries. That's where the gold will be refined and produced for consumption. Now, what does that do? When you go and create a refinery in another country, the host country where you get the mineral from is impoverished, because a refinery in Mali means more jobs for Malians. It means more expertise for Malians. It means
get your free copy of my new best-selling book.
Knowledge for Malians. It means creating, growing an economy in Mali. And that's one of the biggest deals with many African countries, whether it's Cameroon or Gabon. These countries have a lot of timber, they have a lot of wood, a lot of trees, but they have to take their trees and send it to Europe. That's where the trees are going to be refined. Is that acceptable? It's not. Then at the end of the day, they have to order furniture coming from Dubai. You believe that? You have all the timber in the world. You have all the stuff that you need, the woods, the forest. But your timber goes to Europe and Dubai. And Dubai creates the furniture that you purchase at a level of thousands of dollars. I mean, is that stupid or is that anything different? I don't know. You tell me. No. So again, I think it's very important to mention it. Country like Nigeria, where Elon Musk came to ask access for lithium. You want lithium because lithium is necessary for the construction of electric cars. And you know, Elon Musk is the owner of Tesla. Okay, so he wanted to come and take the lithium. And the Nigerian government said to them, you can come in, but provided that you build a refinery station here in Nigeria. Yeah, congratulations, Nigeria. That was a very good decision. Guess what happened next? Elon Musk said, no, we're not interested to building a refinery in your country. But we are very much interested to come into your country and take your lithium and take you wherever we have to take it. The same happened in Zimbabwe with the current president, Mnangagwa. And he said to them, no, we need a refinery here. They refused to build a refinery. And what did Mnangagwa do? He went and signed a contract with the Chinese to come and build a refinery in Zimbabwe. And the same thing is happening in Uganda right now with the oil. So Africans are clearly waking up. They understand the way to production, the way to greatness, the way to a better life. It's industry. It's knowing exactly how it functions. It's building the building blocks, putting everything together yourself, having it done in your country, providing jobs for the people, opportunities for the fathers, get people involved, the knowledge, the expertise for the country to move forward.
Yeah, so we was reading it. I was reading it the other day. I read it all the time with Isaiah chapter 60. We're witnessing that the forces of the Gentiles being converted back over to us. Okay. Anybody have any comments on that?
This is Tom. I think I had also heard that I think it was China is building a nuclear plant in Africa. I can't remember what country it is, but I think I heard this week some mention that they were actually building a nuclear power plant, and we know what that brings.
Exactly.
I just thought that was interesting.
Right. Okay.
Shalom, everyone. Yeah, I heard on the show called Advertisers, Elon Musk was talking about what the gentleman was saying about the lithium going over there and gathering the lithium for the electric cars.
Right. Yeah, so he thought he was going to go over there and just take it, but it's a new day, and it's a new day in Africa, and Africans ain't going for it no more. Yeah. So we got another one right here. Give me a minute.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. So it looks like something crazy is starting to happen again in this world. Right now there is a mysterious pneumonia outbreak in China. But guess what? They are starting to see more cases picking up here in America as well. And other parts of the world are preparing for the worst, right? So there are not a whole lot of details yet on what to expect. As we recall, when C-19 came out, we were getting bits and pieces of information here and there of what was going on in China, and then we started to see it gradually spread around the world and pick up and increase from there. So, that being said, are we headed for another one of those situations? It is kind of difficult to say at this time because, again, reports are just now coming in or coming out. Of course, I'd like to take that biblical perspective on things or topics such as this. If you are in the know, then you already know what the Bible says. In the book of Revelation, it talks about vials being poured out from heaven. And we drew some kind of connection to that before, where they talk about vials in the labs and everything. We have to understand that sometimes the Most High will use man or allow man to bring about biblical prophecy. In other words, biblical prophecy is simply telling you that there are some things that are going to take place on the planet. And we know that the Most High is in control of all things. There's nothing happening on this planet that he is not fully aware of. Okay? Nothing at all. From the smallest to the greatest thing, there is nothing he is not fully aware of. That being said, we have to understand that the Most High has spoken very clearly in his word that he is angry at the world for the sin, for all of the wickedness, everything you see happening. And at some point, payday has to come, right? That day has to come. And so we are starting to see more and more events. People call them natural events. And I have my take on natural events, okay? But anyway, people are starting to see more and more things happening in the world, more and more sickness, more and more death and disease, right? More reports are coming in that people all over the planet are still suddenly dropping dead. That's still happening, y'all. That increase is still there. None of this is being said to cause fear or panic. It is what it is. This is what's happening in the world. And with this new mysterious pneumonia outbreak, I would say that this could be cause for concern as well, only because when you're dealing with pneumonia, you're dealing with difficulty breathing in most cases. You're dealing with respiratory infections. You're dealing with something that makes life very difficult. And not being able to breathe is not something that you take lightly, especially with all that is happening and has happened with the number of people who left here over the past few years from this last thing that we experienced as a world, in the world. Take these things very seriously, especially from a biblical standpoint. We want people to understand that the Most High is moving in the land. We could talk about what man is doing and what was conjured up in labs. People have all kinds of opinions about those things, but the bottom line still remains. The bottom line is still this, that the Most High is in control. And because his word has gone forth out of his mouth and won't return void, then you got to know that that time is coming to where there's a good population, a good portion of the population that will no longer be here. It's in the book. It was prophesied. Now, of course, on the surface, all of this stuff seems to be very frightening, but I don't say these things to cause fear. I say these things for us to fortify, especially spiritually. You want to fortify your life spiritually and naturally as best as you can. We all have to realize that our lives are in the Most High's hands, so make sure that you are on the right side of biblical prophecy. For those of you who are in the race, this is no time to give up. You have to stay the course. Endure to the end. Scripture says, those that endure to the end shall be saved.
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody heard anything about that?
No, sir.
Okay.
Shalom.
Well, go
I
ahead.
was just gonna, bring up a little something, when it comes to that, right? China is a powerhouse when it comes to inventions, right? Of bringing things on the scene and so forth. So I'm not understanding when it comes to their health, right? System, whatever you want to call it, because they're always in the lab, right? They are big when it comes to medication, when it comes to new technology, when it comes to clothing, the whole 9 yards in the trading market, right? But when it comes to their health, it always seemed as though that's where the biggest of it starts. And I think it is because they're always in the lab creating things. They're tampering with things. They're trying to test this and test that, right? So with them being big in the world when it comes to trade, right? They are in and out of different countries, and people from different countries is going to China. So then that's when it starts to affect other places, because they go to China and they take it back. So I just can't understand them being such intelligent people when it comes to inventing everything else, but has no control over health. It just does not add up.
Yeah, you might want to look at it from a perspective as if they're willing to sacrifice some of their people in order to get to the top. They're trying to. If you look at the fact that what happened in the first in 2020, the effect it had on America, well, what do you think it's going to do now?
Right.
So they willing to sacrifice some of their people to do that, because a lot of people don't understand that JFAT is an ancient people. You think that Israel was like the sands of the sea, Japhet, and then these Chinese, which is part of Japhet, they're ancient people. It's millions of them. Okay, so they willing to sacrifice some of their people to get what they want.
Right.
Somebody else had
okay.
Yeah, Shalom. This Tasha, I was going to say the same thing. They're overpopulated, and they have a history of sacrificing their women. That their population is out of is naturally out of order. I think they have a underpopulation of young and a overpopulation of the elderly. And so when they're, one of the things they're trying to do is to right size it. And as Brother Leonard said, that they are trying to, they don't have a problem with sacrificing their people. They don't have the same um, way of doing or looking at things. But the other thing too that you said that was interesting to me is that there is a perception that they are, highly intelligent, and they're inventors of a lot of things, but also they're notorious for taking intellectual property from other people. That's one of the things that America has. One of the contentions that America has. We have people from all over the world. It's not just a certain race of people from a certain genetic background. They come from all over the world here, and that collectiveness has given rise to a lot of inventions and stuff like that, especially from us who are here. And so what they have done is there's been a lot of the reasons why there's a lot of sanctions against China by America is because of their way in which they are always spying on us. If you remember that balloon,
Mm-hmm.
and they're stealing intellectual property from our corporations and stuff by the things that they do. So I just wanted to add that.
So, with all of that being said, is this basically about population control?
Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
and power.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And Brother Leonard, if you don't mind,
But
can you? One of the other things I hear about what China is doing is there any truth to? Um, my understanding is that outsiders cannot own African land, other than the ones that's been there for a while that went over there doing colonization. And so, what I'm understanding is that they're sending their men to Africa, and they are marrying the African women in order to get um, ownership of the land as another way of creating an opportunity to own land in Africa. You heard that? Anybody heard that?
yeah, right. That's an old playbook because of the Edomite Esau. That's what he done. He goes by he traces his lineage by the woman, which is contrary to what he was taught by Abraham. But he traced his lineage by the woman. So he sent all his women into Europe, and they married into all these different dynasties in Europe. That's how they got control of everything. So they put their trust and everything in the woman. And it started with when you go back to this when they was born, Jacob and Esau was born. It says one is going to be stronger than the other, and everybody assumed that Jacob going to be stronger than Esau, but he's talking literal because of Jacob married these giant women. I mean, Esau married these giant women to get mighty men. That's what his sons was. A lot of them was mighty men. Jephthah was a mighty man because he got his mama's DNA. Amalek. So Esau was a stronger one. That's what the verse was referring to, not Jacob. He was referring to Esau. And so they trace their lineage through the woman, not through the man.
So, is there any biblical references to this for what they're doing right now with this marrying these women? I mean, I don't know if it's completely true. That sometimes it's hard to discern what's true and what's not.
Oh yeah. He's been doing that. That's one of the ways you track him. Just like with we weren't supposed to use loan money to people. That's against the Israelite culture. But he do just the opposite. He used usury in order to get over on people. That's why all those European nations hate them and was kicking them out of their countries because they doing it here in America. They got all these these payday loan places where they'll give you $500, but you end up giving them back $4,000 and $5,000. And then if you can't pay it, if you put up land or whatever for a loan, and then they end up with all of it.
Yeah, I recently heard about that. I didn't
Right.
I didn't know that that's where that originated.
Right, and that's all tied to, like I said, when you understand all that, that's tied. Like I was talking the other night. That's what they use JC for when they concocted him. Those Africans, the very thing you were just saying, they came with the religious, with this concept. They concocted with JC, and then give it to the people, and then next thing you know, they standing up with the Bible, and they got all their wealth. And it's still going on to today. Those Africans are all discombobulated with Jesus. You got some of them that's waking up, but they really snowed. You think the Americans snowed in with Jesus. They really snowed in Africa with Jesus. Yeah. And that's what his whole purpose, one of the major purposes of him, was to get our wealth. They watched us for years from Portugal and Spain on the West Coast. They sent explorers in there and surveyed our land, spied it out and all that before they came. They didn't just show up with the boats. They did all kind of recons and everything else before they came. They knew where everything was at and just what to do. Okay.
Shalom. I just
Yeah.
want to add when Ms. West, when you were talking about the Americans marrying into the Africans, and Brother Leonard talked about the playbook. If you can remember how they would say, if you marry me, you know, I'll pay you this amount of money, so that they can come over and live in America. So they have been doing that for many years. Back in the 80s, 90s,
Right.
they've always did that. Try to get the American women to marry over into that country.
Exactly. Okay.
And you know,
Anybody else?
I was going to add about China as well. It is, you know, control, it is power, but it's also they get paid. Other countries are paying them too for certain things that they want to happen. So they'll do their trades undercover and get paid for certain things as well. So it's about money as well.
Right. They call them debt trap loans. They just give them all the money they want, knowing that they eventually going to be caught up and can't pay it back. And so whatever it is that they gave them or they signed, put up for to get the money, it now belongs to China. And they doing it all over.
Shalom.
That's
So
usable.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Finish.
No, I said it's usable. That's also usable. Go ahead.
So China owns all of America's debt, right?
Right.
It's
Right,
interesting
like
to see
it's
how
like a
what's going to
billion.
come of that.
Mhm.
Well, they already they pretty much own America. It's just that
Right.
it's under it's under it's in the dark. They got it in the dark, holding it in the dark. And they do little things, to the people, subliminally that people, if you pay attention, you'll see it. Like, I think it was 2 years ago, for New Year's night, New Year's Eve, they lit up the Empire State Building with the Chinese colors, Chinese flag. So you
Yes, sir.
got
I
to ask
remember
yourself,
that.
how can they do that? I mean, in America, you're gonna light up, that's crazy.
Shalom. Shalom. So it brings to question why they're considering the U.S. dollar being nothing. And I hear this, it's a hush hush now. No, it's not big now, but how they're saying the U.S. dollar is not going to mean nothing. But if China owns the debt, then that debt that they own, the U.S. dollar doesn't mean anything. So what would they profit off of that?
Well, they're gonna bring their money in. What happened was it was all a plot from the beginning, way back with Nixon. When this country first started, it was back the money, the currency, the U.S. currency was backed by gold, and he took the currency off of the gold standard because it's like they say, fiat money. All the countries in the world fiat money. It's only because of they brainwash us to believe that the money is important, but what's backing it is what's important, which is metals like the gold. And so kind of accumulating all the gold, and they putting gold, they're going back to the gold standard and backing they currency with gold, whereas America ain't. So they bringing it down, and so when it goes down, which is where it's at, it's not gonna be it can't recover because you got another currency already coming into play that's already backed by gold. It's all and plotted.
Shalom. So to me, it seems like it seems like an open secret, if you will, because it's obvious that with this BRICS currency that's coming in and the stuff going on with what she was saying about the money being worthless, China owing the debt, it seems like at any moment they can call in that marker
Right.
in terms of that debt.
Right. So so like I was saying, just like with the World Trade Center, if you go back and look at the film, the video, it was a controlled demo job. That's why the towers went down like they did. So they doing the same thing. What they going to China, going to end up, you know, the long superpower, but they doing a controlled demo job on it. They bringing it down slowly. They can easily bring it down, but they bring it down slowly because they don't want to cause a global chaos. So they timing it.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and they pros at that. They've been doing that way back with, you know, like I said, they killed JFK because of the money. They killed Lincoln because of those Edomites is trying to control the Federal Reserve, and way back with Caesar. That's why Julius Caesar was killed in the Senate. Those are Edomites. They killed him because Caesar he's a people's person, just like JFK was, and he was giving money to the people. He was for the common person, you know. And that wrecks they concept of what they doing. So they killed him, just like they killed JFK and Lincoln and everybody else. This been going on forever.
Shalom. So when William Churchill wanted to use gold and they changed it, or they said it would run out, so they went with the money, you know, the dollar bill. So is that going to happen again? I mean, how much gold is there out there, yeah, to, you know, present for, you know, to replace the money? I mean, all
Well,
us common folk may not have that amount that is needed to survive, because I don't think, you know, the gold here in the United States, there's really, I don't know if there is any here, and if there is, how will it be distributed if the money becomes worthless?
Well, I think, Shalom, if I may interject, I think Fort Knox still has the gold.
right.
Our
Oh yeah, they
currency
have
is just
gold.
not backed on it.
Right. They
Right.
got it. They got it. And then what they do, like I was saying, is we just now starting to figure it out. But for years, centuries, they manipulate. They'll say, just like the guy Cecil Rhodes over in Africa. The Africans, they were kicking diamonds around. They were playing with diamonds. You know, so see, they came and made the diamond what it is, and so then they'll manipulate it and say the diamonds, they running out of diamonds. Then people rush in and start buying it, but they're not running out of diamonds. It's like they got this myth going around that we don't have no gold. No, we got all kind of gold. That's the way to manipulate the buying power, supply and demand. They pros at that.
Mhm. Almost like to say your you know, where used to be back in the day, a handshake and your word meant something.
Right,
That's how America's dollar is. It's just a handshake and a wink.
right,
It only means something if they say it does, but the moment
right,
it doesn't, it doesn't, because it
right.
ain't on
And
nothing.
right. And the prime example of that is forever. They had all these European people, Anglo-Saxons, all bent out of shape behind Israel. And then they made this serious blunder when they started this last war that they concocted. And when he invaded Gaza, now the whole world is waking up because they saying these people ain't acting like no the Israelites is in the Bible, and they seen how they totally demolishing Gaza. So now they gotta find a way to get out of that situation because of the whole world ain't going in the direction that they've been. So that's all the dollar is. They got the world brainwashed that the dollar is what it is, but you know it's because the masses of the people believing what they told them about the dollar and everything else, Jesus and everything else. They just saying these things, and the masses going for it. And nobody until recently did know their homework. Now people starting to do their homework with the internet and TikTok and all that. It ain't working no more. So, and that's creative.
Shalom.
That's the line right there.
So, um, I'll say the curtain has been pulled back And now
Exactly.
we're seeing what's behind the scenes, even though they're continuing to say nothing is going on, everything business as usual, but we
Right.
can see now. Okay.
Exactly. And
Shalom. I think the other thing to me that's fascinating about this whole thing and what's going on when we're talking about the powers that be would say something, and for the most part everybody believed it. But I think even with Trump coming out and this whole um thing about misinformation, I think that's strategic. I
Oh
think
yeah, yeah.
that whole
Right.
thing is strategic in order to, because people are discerning for themselves, they're doing their own research, they have tools that are easily accessible to research the truth. So now all of a sudden, and like almost as if it was overnight, there's so much information out there that the truth that was always hidden in plain sight is even more harder, except for those who can discern, to be able to see it. I think that was strategic.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is. It's strategic, and even like I'm saying, if you at the point where you seen all this here, then creating and singled you out. A lot of people don't understand the significance of that, because if you just start looking around and paying attention, everybody, people is still the same way. You just woke up. Everybody else still dumbed down. They're not looking at the world the way you're looking at it through the lenses that you have. Creator just didn't shine a light on you, which is major. That's what I
Shalom.
think. What's that?
Shalom. And if we look at it, Esau has to have a vessel. So he uses, and I believe he uses Trump because there's no other president that does what he is doing and is able to do what he does and still is moving toward a mark and having all of these other followers behind him in support of what he's doing.
So-called followers. I don't even. I don't know. I don't know if they really follow him or not, or that's the whole thing that we just talking about. They tell us what they want us to know, and if I just sit back sometimes and I'll turn on CNN or MSNBC, and just listen, the stories are almost identical. The stories throughout the day is the same stories they put on the TV at 6 o'clock. They just keep talking about the same thing over and over again. It's just a different reporter saying the same message. So
Yeah,
why
all
is that? If it's news, yeah.
Shh.
all over around the
Yeah.
world they do that.
Shalom. To me, it seems like, again, right in the New Testament, how they write it in red, saying that what JC says, so as to draw their attention and only to those particular words that he's been saying, or this, because it's in red, then everyone gravitates to that because they're saying it over and over again, like you said, on different networks. So one can't be wrong because this person is saying it, and that's how they gravitate people to draw them in. Just like when they go over to Africa and they were saying feed the hungry, but they were going over there to change their mindset by giving them that Christianity way of reading the Bible or taking in who is JC and how to turn the other cheek. It's better to give than receive, those kind of things. And as they brainwash them into that narrative, here we are with formal Trump, they're brainwashed those people, make America great. So now they really don't care, I think, who Trump is Trump. They're going to use him like they use um, uh, Martin Luther King to get them to draw everybody in, to be hand in hand, walk together. They did him. They used him. They're going to use Trump to get those bleeding heart Americans, they say, quote unquote, to come together. So to make America great again, get back to where it was in 1776, perhaps, I don't know exactly, but that's what happens when you hear a song over and over. No matter what happens, you hear it so much that a tune come in and you're going to sing the whole song, you know, because
Like
it's in you.
subliminal
It's,
messaging.
yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So this video right here ties to what we were saying about. It seems as if everything that they're doing is leading to something. So I was telling you how in Malachi that was Esau that was in the land in 70 AD, and the Creator told him, Jacob I love and Esau I hate, and I'm gonna lay your cities and everything to waste, and then I'll be magnified from the borders of Israel. So that verse 5 lets you know where they at. They was in Israel in 70 AD. It was ran out because they told the Creator, we're gonna return here. We're gonna come back here and rebuild. That's what they did in 1948. But they want to rule the world. Those Zionists want to rule the world from Jerusalem, where they're now, for 1,000 years. That's what the objective is. So check this out.
Palestinians in Gaza are spending a fourth night being bombarded by rockets and missiles as Israeli Defense Forces and Hamas militants continue fighting.
This just happened.
Jerusalem, located in Israel, is considered a holy city for Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, leading to competing claims and tensions over control and access to religious sites. Recently, the Jewish community has decided to go ahead with the building of the third temple, which has been challenged for years. Will the Muslim community permit the rebuilding of the sacred Temple Mount?
Yeah.
What steps are being taken currently?
That's the objective.
And what is the update as of today? Join us as we uncover what just happened in Israel that has stunned the whole world. Since its establishment in 1987, the Temple Institute has actively pursued the cause of rebuilding the Third Temple in Jerusalem. Over the years, this organization has conducted extensive research and meticulously recreated the sacred vessels and instruments required for temple service, including the golden menorah and the high priest's breastplate, faithfully adhering to the specific requirements outlined in religious texts. Now, while the nation of Israel is in the midst of a terrifying war, the Institute has presented compelling reasons for initiating the construction and has even suggested that the current conflict could propel the long-awaited realization of God's temple. Keep watching to find out what just happened in Israel that has stunned the whole world. Israel, officially known as the State of Israel, is a captivating country located in the heart of the Middle East. Bordered by Lebanon to the north, Syria to the northeast, Jordan to the east, Egypt to the southwest, and the Mediterranean Sea to the west, Israel boasts a diverse landscape that ranges from a lengthy coastal plain to highlands in the north and central regions. Throughout its storied past, Israel has been a sacred home to a multitude of civilizations and empires. The land of Canaan, which encompasses present-day Israel, has seen the rise and fall of powerful forces such as the Babylonians, Persians, Greeks, and Romans. Unlike their neighbors who worshipped an extensive pantheon of deities, the Israelites worshipped only one God. While grandiose monuments of brick and stone were erected by their neighbors, Israel's glory lay in words. The Hebrew Bible, also known as the Tanakh, would change the world in a way a golden statue never could. It inspired the minds and souls of billions, gripping and shaking their hearts to this very day. The Tanakh consists of the first 5 books called the Torah. It recounts the story of Abraham, who was called by God to leave his home in Ur and journey to the promised land of Canaan, which was to be inherited by him and his descendants forever. This divinely sanctioned real estate deal was repeated to Abraham's son Isaac and his grandson Jacob, who was later renamed Israel. Jacob had 12 sons, and their families became the 12 tribes of Israel. After centuries of servitude in Egypt, they were delivered by Moses, who led them to the edge of the promised land, Canaan. Subsequently, Joshua, Moses' successor, conquered Canaan. The biblical books continue to describe Israel's ongoing conflicts and disputes with the surrounding peoples, with the most troublesome adversaries, the Philistines. The Philistines are commonly believed to have been part of the marauding sea peoples who troubled the eastern Mediterranean during the end of the Bronze Age. Around 1000 BCE, the 12 tribes of Israel were united under the leadership of King Saul, marking the period known as the United Monarchy. After King Saul came the remarkable King David. David's story, as recounted in the books of Samuel and Chronicles, is one of military success and territorial expansion. One of his most celebrated feats was the conquest of a city called Jerusalem, which became the capital. Under David's son Solomon, the kingdom of Israel reached its zenith in terms of wealth, power, and magnificence. Solomon built the legendary temple where the Israelites worshipped and offered sacrifices to God according to the laws of Moses. The temple also housed the Ark of the Covenant, a golden chest containing the 10 Commandments. Solomon himself was renowned for his wisdom and continued the transformative era of his father with Jerusalem as the capital. Jerusalem holds profound significance for 3 major world religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Its ancient streets are steeped in the religious beliefs, historical narratives, and spiritual aspirations of these faiths. For Judaism, Jerusalem stands as the most sacred city and the eternal capital of the Jewish people. Its importance goes beyond its numerous mentions in the Hebrew Bible. Jerusalem is intrinsically linked to the first and second temples, which held paramount importance in Jewish worship. These temples served as sacred spaces where God's presence was believed to reside. The Western Wall, a symbolic remnant of the Second Temple, holds immense religious significance for Jews worldwide. It is a place of prayer and pilgrimage, connecting believers to the rich history of Jewish worship. Furthermore, Jerusalem is revered as the location where Abraham's offering of Isaac to God took place, a testament to unwavering devotion and sacrifice. Christianity too considers Jerusalem a hallowed city due to its association with Jesus Christ. The life of Jesus was intertwined with Jerusalem as it witnessed pivotal events such as his crucifixion, resurrection, and ascension. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre, widely regarded as the site of Jesus' crucifixion, burial, and resurrection, stands as a testament to these significant events. Other revered Christian locations in Jerusalem include the Via Dolorosa, believed to be the path Jesus walked while carrying the cross, the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus prayed before his arrest, and the Mount of Olives, from which he is said to have ascended to heaven. These holy sites make Jerusalem an essential destination for Christian pilgrims, holding deep spiritual meaning for followers of the faith. Islam also holds Jerusalem in high regard, particularly the site known as Al-Haram al-Sharif, or the Noble Sanctuary. This sacred location encompasses 2 prominent landmarks, the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque. According to Islamic tradition, the Dome of the Rock marks the spot from which the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven during the night journey. The Al-Aqsa Mosque, located within the Noble Sanctuary, is considered the 3rd holiest mosque in Islam, following the Masjid al-Haram in Mecca and the Prophet's Mosque in Medina. These revered sites in Jerusalem hold immense religious significance for Muslims worldwide. While Jerusalem is undeniably a city of immense religious and historical importance for these 3 faiths, it has also been a place of ongoing religious and political tensions. The complex and intertwined nature of religious heritage and modern-day realities is evident in Jerusalem. Jews, for example, have faced difficulties finding a place for worship since the destruction of the First and Second Temples. Worship at temples and synagogues has been a central part of Jewish tradition, leading to the proposal to build the Third Temple as a successor to the previous ones and in fulfillment of prophecy. However, the realization of this proposal has proven to be much more challenging than initially envisioned. The complexities surrounding Jerusalem highlight the delicate balance between religious beliefs, historical significance, and the realities of the modern world. The city serves as a reminder that the pursuit of peace, understanding, and coexistence requires careful navigation of the multifaceted dynamics at play. Jerusalem remains a place where faith, history, and aspirations converge, inviting ongoing dialogue and efforts to find common ground among different religious and cultural perspectives. Why is the Third Temple such a big deal to the Jews? The construction of the Third Temple is a big deal for the Jewish community, as its temple is deeply rooted in history, spirituality, and the core beliefs of the Jewish faith. In ancient Jerusalem, the First and Second Temples were more than just architectural marvels. They were the heart of Jewish worship and the dwelling place of the divine. According to Jewish tradition and scripture, the First and Second Temples were constructed in Jerusalem on the Temple Mount. These temples served as the central place of worship and the dwelling place of God's presence on earth. However, both temples were destroyed. the first temple by the Babylonians in 586 BCE, and the second temple by the Romans in 70 CE. Since then, the absence of the temple has been a central theme in Jewish collective memory and longing. For Jews, the rebuilding of the third temple represents the restoration of their spiritual center and the re-establishment of their ancient religious practices. It is seen as a vital step towards the Messianic era, a time of peace, justice, and the ultimate redemption of the Jewish people. The third temple is believed to be the site where God's presence will dwell once again, renewing the divine connection with humanity. Central to Jewish belief is the notion that the temple houses the Shekinah, the earthly manifestation of God's presence. In the innermost chamber, the Holy of Holies, this divine connection was palpable. Rebuilding the third temple is a spiritual aspiration, a yearning to rekindle the intimate relationship between God and the Jewish people, allowing them to bask in the divine presence once more. The significance of the third temple is intricately tied to the arrival of the Messiah, a pivotal figure in Jewish theology. According to tradition, the Messiah will restore the temple and usher in an era of unparalleled peace. The reconstruction of the temple is a vital step toward fulfilling these messianic prophecies, signifying hope, redemption, and the ultimate reunion between God and humanity. The Bible addressed the issues of the Temple Mount and the rebuilding of the temple. One of the most notable prophecies regarding the Temple Mount comes from the book of Ezekiel. In Ezekiel 40:48, the prophet envisions a detailed description of a future temple and its surrounding area. He describes the dimensions, layout, and various rituals that will take place within this magnificent structure. In Ezekiel 43:7, God declares, "Son of man, this is the place of my throne and the place for the soles of my feet. This is where I will live among the Israelites forever." Another compelling prophecy can be found in the book of Daniel. In Daniel 9:27, it is written, "He will confirm a covenant with many for 1/7. In the middle of the 7, he will put an end to sacrifice and offering. And at the temple, he will set up an abomination that causes desolation until to the Temple Mount." The complexities of this situation have historically led to tensions, with Jews often being prohibited from visiting the complex for extended periods. Yet, it's essential to note that recent archaeological findings have provided evidence of Jewish ritual cleansing sites in the vicinity, lending credence to Jewish claims over the site. The discoveries have triggered the reformation of the Sanhedrin, a Jewish religious council re-established in 2004. The Sanhedrin has embarked on a mission to take practical steps toward the rebuilding of the Third Temple. These steps encompass a broad range of activities. The Sanhedrin has ventured into cultivating farms and forests aimed at recreating the ancient environmental conditions, recognizing the significance of plants in temple rituals. The meticulous care of the environment is pivotal, but it also raises debates surrounding the authority of the Sanhedrin and concerns about the environmental impact and ecosystem balance. Furthermore, the production of a red heifer, crucial for purification, presents a significant challenge. Red heifers are extinct, but innovative approaches are being explored. Methods to engineer a pure heifer using red Angus as a base are in the works. Rabbi Chaim Richmond and Reverend Clyde Lott have employed animal husbandry concepts to produce a red heifer, meticulously adhering to specific breeding rules. Currently, 5 red heifers are housed in an undisclosed location in Israel, kept until they reach the appropriate age for use in the ceremony. Rabbi Shock Mahmoud suggests that the red heifer ceremony needs to be performed on the Mount of Olives, overlooking the place where the temple once stood. He anticipates that this ceremony could potentially take place around Passover 2024 or Shavuot 2024, provided the cows reach the required age. Security is yet another intricate layer of complexity. The Temple Mount has witnessed countless acts of violence and conflict over the years. Any construction project on this site would require a robust security apparatus to maintain order and deter potential clashes. The need for such security measures, while understandable, can further exacerbate tensions and contribute to a sense of instability. Protecting the archaeological treasures buried beneath the surface of the Temple Mount also poses a complex challenge. Layers of history span millennia, with archaeological artifacts and remnants dating back to various periods, including the era of the Second Temple. Any construction project would need to balance religious aspirations with the imperatives of scientific inquiry, preserving and documenting these invaluable historical treasures. The international community's role in this matter cannot be overlooked. The status of Jerusalem, including the Temple Mount, has long been a contentious issue in international diplomacy. Numerous resolutions and agreements, such as the Oslo Accords, have sought to address the status of Jerusalem and its holy sites. Any unilateral action to build a new temple could have far-reaching implications for regional stability and international relations, making it a challenge that goes beyond the borders of Israel and the immediate stakeholders. Beyond international diplomacy, the broader geopolitical context looms large. Israel's relationships with neighboring countries, particularly its Arab neighbors, are sensitive and delicate. The construction of the Third Temple could have far-reaching consequences for these relationships, potentially impacting regional peace efforts and alliances. Extremist groups are another factor that cannot be ignored. Various religious and ideological movements may seek to exploit the construction of the Third Temple for their own agendas, potentially escalating tensions and violence in the region. The global community must closely monitor and address these complex geopolitical challenges. Moreover, ethical and moral considerations add another layer of complexity to the construction of the Third Temple. It is essential to respect the rights and aspirations of all individuals and communities involved, striving to find a path forward that acknowledges the diversity of beliefs and values in this deeply contested space. Balancing these intricate facets is no small feat, and it calls for a nuanced and sensitive approach that recognizes the profound significance of the endeavor.
So you see what he's saying? He says it takes strategic balance. That's what they're doing. They're coming up with a way, well, they already figured it out, but that's what's coming. What they're getting ready to do with this temple. And that's what's going to shut everything down.
What I hear is no matter what Esau does, his hatred for what happened to him is so deep. No matter what they do to imitate the God's people, it is still, it could be a good imitation, but it will always be an imitation, and that's what they can't accept. I heard them saying that they're trying to engineer some type of bird that's supposed to be present, that no matter how good you clone something, it's still going to be a clone. And the other thing about that is, one of the things, years ago, that sealed it for me about the possibility that Jesus wasn't who they said he was, is because of what that was just in that video. I have some friends that were Jewish, and one of the things I learned was that they said that they can trace their lineage all the way back to David. And one of the things I learned is that they can't, in order to be Jewish, your mother has to be Jewish. That, like you were saying earlier, their lineage is to what makes them Jewish is the line of the mother. And so if you are truly Jewish, or which I don't even understand what makes them Jewish versus, the true people who are Israelites. If you are truly Jewish, how can you trace yourself back to David? Because in the Old Testament, I don't know where it is, what it says when that temple is rebuilt, the only person that could sit on that throne will be a descendant of David, not a descendant of Mary.
Right. Exactly. And that's what people don't understand about it. Just off of that right there, understanding that right there, you can see how the depth of the lies and how they trick the Bible off. You got people now, because of TikTok and YouTube and all that, it's undeniable that it's things in the Bible that ain't right, but they don't know how deep it goes, the depth of it, because they had to trick everything off and turn everything upside down to do just what you just said. Like I said in the story in the beginning, when he says he's talking to the serpent, between thy seed and her seed, she don't have no seed. So that's not what it said. So all from that all the way down, they had to twist the scriptures, turn them all upside down, take stuff in, take stuff out to make all that work. Yeah. Is there something?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so yeah, so with that being said, I'm gonna open it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything they came across they want to talk about before I deal with this Gaza and Palestinian thing?
Shalom, everyone. Yes, sir. I want to talk about a video that I've watched and information that I've came across before in reference to the slave Bible and Ham, right?
Okay.
With them saying that, excuse me, us as Black people, right? The reason why we are cursed, right, is
Go ahead.
is because of Ham, what Ham did, right? So, and what they've done to the slave Bible when they implemented that is that I did not know this, that they took out Exodus, right?
Right.
Out of the slave Bible. So I'm just really trying to get an understanding of how are they linking us to Ham? Where are they getting that from?
Well, it goes back to what I keep on saying over and over again about they hide themselves. They like I said, they twist, they trick the story off in the beginning. It didn't go the way they have it when it's serpent, because that's not how the prophets work. That's not how the angels work. If the serpent slept with Eve, then the scripture said that, and that's what it said at first. But they didn't trick it off with a tree to be desired and all this stuff to throw you off. But the serpent slept with Eve, and so they gotta hide that, and then Cain and Cain's lineage. So they didn't hid Cain, the serpent's lineage, all the way through the scriptures. Like I said, when you get to the flood, after the flood, right before the flood, the Lord of hosts told Noah, go get a male and a female from all flesh.
Mm-hmm.
So we know it's a 6-day man that he created in Genesis 1:26. Then Cain, the serpent seed, he had to get a male and a female from him, and then Noah, Noah and his son Shem. Them ain't Ham ain't none of Noah's son, and Japheth ain't none of his son. So they hid that lineage all the way through, and that's what the trick. That's where until you figure that out, that's where a lot of the confusion coming in at. So when you get to the story of Noah and what happened to his wife, it's not Noah that was naked. Noah's wife is his nakedness. So and we know from the book of Adam and Eve what Cain's descendants was doing before the flood. They would go into a man's house, sleep with his children, sleep with his wife in front of him. Mm-hmm. Like I was saying, because they was mighty men. They were stronger than they was bigger and strong. They came from the angels. It was bigger and stronger, more powerful. So they would come in strong on a man and sleep with his wife in front of him, sleep with his son in front of him. So you say, what are you talking about? That's what Abraham said with Sarah when they came into Egypt. Don't tell them Negroes I'm your husband. They're gonna kill me. Mm-hmm. But they want to. Isaac did the same thing. But they cyborg your consciousness by they throw you off from lining all that up. So when they got off the boat, Japheth did what he was doing before the flood. He slept with Noah's wife, raped her, and she had a seed, Canaan, out of that. And then he left. Then, like it says, once you get zeroed in, the other two boys came in backwards with a blanket and covered up Noah's neck. And they didn't cover Noah up, they covered his wife up laying there that Japheth had raped. And she had a baby. So when Noah woke saw what Japheth had done, then he said, "Cursed be the seed that was in his belly, Canaan." So you say, what are you talking about? Canaan ain't none of Ham's seed. Canaan is Japheth's seed. That's how they tricked it all off.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Shalom.
yeah.
When you say Canaan, which Canaan are you referring to?
Well, see, you got Cain. You got Cain, Cain. Then you got Canaan, Canaan.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So Canaan, how we end with the land of Canaan is that same Canaan that was the product of what Japheth did to Noah's wife. When they lotted the land out, started stripping the land out just like he did the time of Peleg. Canaan went and stole the land. She stole the land that Noah had gave to Shem. He stole it. That's why it's called the land of Canaan. He stole.
Okay, so okay, now it makes sense to me. So the land of Canaan is where the giants were, right? Where they said everything was big.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So now that makes sense to me.
Right.
If Japhet was was from the giants, and he slept with Noah's wife, she had a baby. They go to the land of Canaan, and that's why all those giants were there.
Right. And then, like I said, Cain the same way. That's what nobody's adding up. He's strong on him. He's strong. He's more powerful and stronger than Abel was. He's strong on Abel, killed him. See, Canaan did the same thing. He stole the land of Canaan because he a mighty man.
Mighty man, right?
He took the land from Shem.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and then you got to go back to the story, and when you finally get registered, serpent wasn't gonna give Eve back. Only reason he got Eve back was Michael was there. Adam wouldn't have got Eve back. And just like with Abraham, Amalek Abraham wouldn't have got Sarah back, and Michael wasn't there. Michael went and appeared to him and told him, "I'm gonna run this sword down your throat if you don't take Sarah back to Abraham, and I'm gonna kill everything moving." And then that's when he got to moving then and took her back and made him rich. But if it wasn't for the Lord of hosts, Sarah wouldn't have been Sarah would have been gone. Same with Eve. Oh yeah. But they took all that out of the story.
Yes, I saw that. I had to watch it a couple of times. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So what I'm gonna do with this, because I was watching that video too, the slave Bible. I'm just gonna play a little bit of it. Then, if you want to go watch it, the name of it is Exposed. How the slave Bible was used to enforce obedience. And so this is a prime example, like I said, when you see this, the extent of what happened to our scriptures. People think it's just, they can slap you on the wrist. No, they mutilated this book. And the Lord of hosts and the Most High put it back together, which is astonishing to them.
DC was a special exhibit centered on a rare Bible from the 1880s that was used by British missionaries to convert and educate slaves. What's notable about this Bible is not just its rarity, but its content, or rather the lack of content. It excludes any portion of text that might inspire rebellion or liberation. This was the slave Bible, the Holy Scriptures, the Word of God as at the time, meant to guide us through our lives on earth. The slave Bible was different from the Bible we know today. It was used as a tool for propaganda, supported by ministers.
So let that register. So we're hearing it today. They were saying it back then. oh, all we need is these 66 books. Let that front made. So they were saying that then. Look at us, they mutilated the book. But you sitting there hollering in the church house, God watched over the book, and all these 66 books right here, we don't need no other books. Everything you need right here in this book. And these people ain't got no respect for the scriptures.
To claim to speak for God. It might surprise you to learn that some who preached love and holiness believed that God had cursed a certain race because of the color of their skin. But what exactly did the slave Bible contain? Which passages were promoted and which ones were left out? And the most significant question of all, why did it even exist? In this video, we will answer all your questions and shine a light on a time when religion was used to spread falsehoods and hatred. Before we get right into the video, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel to keep informed of our eye-opening Black narrative. Prior to their abduction and enslavement, Africans were not monolithic in their religious beliefs. Rather, they practiced a rich tapestry of spiritual traditions that varied across regions, ethnic groups, and cultures. These traditions included animism, ancestor worship, and polytheism, all of which were deeply connected to the natural world and the spirits inhabiting it. Additionally, many Africans had embraced Islam through contact with Arab traders and travelers.
That's another trick right here. This African thing. We know that people when they was in Africa, but they weren't Africans. So that's a major thing too. Somebody that don't know what's going on, they continue to keep saying African. Yeah, the African the one was doing ancestral worship, and they the ones that was dealing with these fallen angels and all that. Okay, but not the Hebrews.
Introduction to Islam resulted in the conversion of various African communities to the faith.
That's a trick.
When Africans were uprooted from their homelands, they brought with them a diverse array of spiritual beliefs and practices.
This is how you divide.
Upon their arrival in the New World, enslaved Africans were confronted with a starkly different religious landscape, one dominated by Christianity. Missionaries and slave owners sought to convert enslaved individuals to Christianity as part of their efforts to assert control and justify the institution of slavery. The promise of salvation, eternal life, and spiritual salvation was used as both a carrot and a stick. Conversion could offer some semblance of hope and comfort in the face of unimaginable suffering, while simultaneously serving as a means of asserting authority over the enslaved. Africans were brought to Christian congregations where they were exposed to the teachings and rituals of the faith. This exposure marked the beginning of a spiritual transformation that would unfold over generations. As African individuals became members of Christian congregations, their traditional religious practices began to merge with elements of Christianity. It was in this context of spiritual upheaval and vulnerability that the slave Bible emerged. The slave Bible, produced in the early 19th century, was a carefully edited and censored Bible with significant portions omitted. While the Bible is traditionally seen as a source of inspiration, liberation, and moral guidance, this manipulated version sought to erase passages that might challenge the status quo or inspire thoughts of rebellion and emancipation. Today, there are only 3 known copies of the slave Bible in existence. One copy belongs to Fisk University, and the other 2 are located.
So now you see what I mean. You said it was kept, all the stuff was carefully orchestrated. Like I said, if you know that the serpent slept with Eve, Cain is his descendants, and Cain had children, the first thing you want to know where they at right now, because I don't want to have a damn thing to do with them. So they had to manipulate it. Where it
in the United Kingdom. The original slave Bible was published by Law and Gilbert Publishing House in London, and the copy belonging to Fisk University was published the following year. It was published on behalf of the Society for the Conversion of Negro Slaves to educate enslaved Africans and preserve the system of slavery.
Paying your bills on time raises your. Okay.
Yeah, that's brainwashing 101. You
Oh
you
yeah.
know, it's interesting too. Because now that we can see things on a continuum, they knew that preventing us from reading and writing wasn't sustainable. So they beat you, they
Right.
worked you, the sun up, the sun down,
Sundown. Mm-hmm.
and then they put you in a building, or they brought y'all together, and they would have somebody read to you from these Bibles. It's interesting that they said there's only three left. What happened to all the Bibles on all of these plantations around the United States, or wherever
Right.
they put them? Because it was strategic. And after that, like I
Right.
said, they couldn't sustain the ability to prevent us from reading and writing, but it was so
Right.
indoctrinated into who we are, like what Brother Leonard said before. We've been running off the tradition for years. I mean, for
Right.
even for centuries. Because once
Right.
that seed was planted, it grew on its own. They didn't need to continue to really enforce this whole idea of reading and writing, because it was already planted. It was already indoctrinated into the people, and they're still beating them into submission.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have to do
Oh
that.
yeah.
And then that's when the daughters of the revolution came, when they brought up, they invented education in schools to give us
Right.
another way of keeping us from
Brainwashing.
learning, and distraction from figuring out who we were and what we, where we come from.
Right. And they will come back. They come back and clean up when they make mistakes. They come back and clean up. Like, for example, they didn't want nothing to do with us, but they didn't. So they gave us our own schools. But then they realized that we can't let, we see what they're doing. We can't allow them to do that. So we got to come back and
Mm-hmm.
integrate. We got to come
Right.
back and integrate. So they always come back and clean up when they mess up. And just like with this Bible, they always reviving it and tricking it off, because they can't mess with the melanin. That's the
Right.
God gene that's in us. They can't do nothing with that to this very day. They can't do nothing
Right.
with that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that makes perfect sense to me. The whole idea, integration wasn't something we wanted. We
Right.
were tricked into believing we wanted it, that it would be better, but it wasn't. We were thriving. I remember growing up and having three stores, Mr. Purvis, Jabos, and
Yeah.
it was another
Exactly.
store round the corner, all in our neighborhood. We could walk to it.
Right.
And
Exactly.
then,
None of that.
integration in the 80s came, and all that went away.
Right. None of that's here. None of that's there.
Yeah.
Right. And then
We
you
were
got to
tricked
look at,
into believing that was what we wanted.
oh yeah, right. And then right behind that came the heroin and all these intoxicating drugs that we didn't deal with that type of stuff. It
Right.
was all easy.
Right.
Everything they
Brought
do was
in. Mm-hmm.
all
Mhm.
easy. And
Shalom.
they see what they see what's going on with us. Then they come back and combat it.
Right. It's
Sh-
a ongoing process to keep us distracted, asleep, and away from our the what is to come.
Yep.
But they're not going to be able to stop that eventually. I mean, well, go back to the previous video with they finna rebuild the temple. They manufacturing a bird. All this. I mean, it'll always be imitation. You're never going to be able to replace what it is. I don't care how well. If you could be a Kardashian, I don't care how much they build themselves to look like a black woman. You'll never be the
Never be.
original.
Yes. Come on.
Shalom. I want to go back to that part where we were talking about how they have brainwashed. Well, with the church or with the Bible, they had to get a preacher. And like I said before, with Martin Luther King, he was a preacher. So they're going to believe someone who's been in the Bible, who's been reading the Bible, and that's how they kicked it off for the integration win.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when they got to try to get Malcolm X by feeding him a lot, and he's reading, and then when he went to Mecca to see how things were and came back, they said, oh, well, no, 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 you're not going to spread that. You're going to have to leave by, unaliving him. So it's so much when they indoctrinate people into believing into the Bible, and then they change it. Now, the Christianity, what I get out of it when they say Christianity, they're saying Christ, be
Right.
Christ-like, and that to me draws a lot of people to the New Testament because they say they're Christians, and then they take that Christian with JC's word, Christ, Christian. That's how I think they exploit people to come into that part of their belief that JC is the one who's going to help everyone and heal everyone and whatever he's supposed to done.
It's like when our athletes and stuff like that, and we would get on these award shows or these sports shows, and when our people exceed and excel in certain things, a lot of them used to be where they get up on stage and say, first I want to give honor to God and Jesus who's the head of my life, or something, however it go like that. They laughed at us.
Oh yeah.
They laughed at us because they knew the truth behind that.
Oh
it,
yeah.
it's 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 like you like a playing a sick joke on somebody, that these
Oh
people
yeah.
so earnestly believe a lie, and it's a lie. I
Exactly.
mean, now I look at it, I can't even watch it. It's just so, when they say stuff like that, it's just like you don't want to know.
Right. Exactly. And like I
The
was saying,
music industry.
right. You think everybody where you at, but they ain't. They still in the dark. They're still in the dark though. 90 some percent of the people in the world today, they're still in the dark. You got people, I heard some people I was talking the other day, and they didn't even know what a damn Hebrew Israelite was. Think about that. I'm like, what? They all over the internet. I mean, you never even heard of it in 2023. So imagine, people are not where you think they where you at, but they're not where you at.
Right. And they talk about generational trauma now. You hear a lot of black scholars coming out talking about generational trauma, how they it's applicable to everybody else. To me, it's the same as shell shock or PTSD and stuff like that. When somebody goes through something, it it
Right,
it it, it affects their emotional well-being and their growth and stuff like that, from a social and an emotional standpoint. But you think about the trauma that we've been through and how we react. I personally did not witness or see or was treated the way that our ancestors was. But if I see one of the movies, or if I hear that stuff, it tears at my heart. It's an internalized trauma that
right,
has been um
right,
pulled down through the generations, but they want to say it that don't apply to us. That's why it's dismissive when we talk about, we need to be, whether it's reparations or there needs to be an accounting of what they did. They don't want to do it because they don't want to give an account. It's easy to say no, it's nothing, because then you don't have to do anything about it. But with everybody else, they need to be given some type of um uh you know put them in their arms and hug
Compensation or
them, and
something.
compensation, and make them feel better. Everybody but us. And it's just fascinating to me. But it's all connected, all back to everything that we've been talking about. Every time we get over something, they come back and put something else. And because now the black churches are emptying out now.
oh yeah.
That whole thing with the what does they call it, the some kind of wealth doctrine, you
So
know.
yeah, they call it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about the money, sowing seeds.
Right. And I remember the last time, I'll never forget, being in a church, and because that's what I was taught to do. And I just remember I just realized that there was nothing there. This is way before I even got on the journey that I'm on now. I just knew I wasn't supposed to be there, and my soul wouldn't let me sit there anymore. They passed around that offering plate like for the fourth time. And I just couldn't sit there anymore,
Yeah.
because they keep thinking that, they trying to figure out what it is that's going to distract us. And it used to be, just being a good person and all this stuff and being equal. When that couldn't hold us back, then they came up with this doctrine about, if you be a good Christian, you'll be wealthy and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
There's nothing that they can say that's going to hold us back. Now the churches are emptying out. The black church, people not even going to church anymore.
Right. Seed time and harvest.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what they, yeah. And so like I was saying before, and that's what people don't understand about that is that the black preacher that's a laboratory project that they started way back in the day. And now on us, we look at it, and from our perspective, that's a influential position. But it's just like I said, the Most High, we don't supposed to deal with banks. But it's a bank in every city. It's an abomination. But they got us brainwashed that it's something good. The Most High said, don't deal with it. It's usury. And so the same thing with the black pastor. They concocted him.
And if I remember correctly, when they had the slave Bible, the white man used to sit among them to make sure
Right.
that the
Right.
preacher
Yep.
would stay with. If I remember what I had learned about that.
Right. So what did the scripture say? They're gonna put a yoke of iron around your neck, and then they're gonna take it off after they destroy it. So we see back then the white pastor had to sit in there with the preacher, but after he brainwashed him, now he don't have to sit there with him no more.
Right.
He's gonna automatically do what he tell him to do.
Right. And think about what they did to Nate Turner. Nate Turner was the picture of what they wanted him to be. Right. And as soon as he turned, look what he did. One man. And look how angry they were at him. They killed him like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, exactly.
They were so mad at him and what he represented. One man.
Right. And what he did was what the drama came in at was that he was telling them what they wanted to hear, but he knew different. He went along with it. He was telling them whatever they had told the other preachers, don't say this, say this. So he was doing everything they say do. They thought they had broke him, but the whole time he was hoodwinking them, and that's the last Negro they want to see.
Yeah,
they don't believe nothing they say.
Yeah,
you gonna hurry up and get killed.
Right, and not only are they going to kill you, they're going to overkill you.
Right, exactly. Oh, yeah, they have to. Oh yeah. Is there something?
Yeah, and you know what? And that would also that brings to my memory too is what they did to these African leaders. I can't remember the guy's name. I could just see his face. I think he was in Niger or Burkina Faso. And they say the guy that's there now reminds them of his leadership.
Right.
Not only did they say it again.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
They killed him and then they dissolved his body in acid.
Right.
And it kept a tooth of his out of his mouth.
Right.
What is that? Why?
Right.
I mean, go ahead, babe.
No, yeah, go ahead. I was just saying now those people trying to do everything they can to get that tooth back.
Right. And my thing is, why is it? I mean, why did it's inconceivable to me that you killed him. I think they beat him, they killed him, they chopped up his body, then they put it in a bin, and then they dissolved it in acid.
Right. That's fear.
Did they think he was coming back? I mean, why would you do that?
That's fear factor. That's the fear factor. Don't no other Negro come up talking about nothing like that no more. That's what that is. And they did the same thing over here. They did take one slave and beat the hell out of him in front of all the rest of them.
His name was
The rebellious
TT.
one.
Say that again, Mom.
TT. I just looked it up. They said TT. They stole his tooth after killing killing a documentary elected African leader and dissolving his body in acid, burning what was left of him.
Right. And look what they did to the that Black Panther leader. I didn't realize, I think his name was Fred Hammond. I didn't realize how young he was. They still go to his grave site today. I think somebody built a bulletproof what do you call it? The monument that they put over your grave. I forgot. But our people that they know got something. When they killed him, when they said this, they overkill him. They still go to that man's grave today and shoot up his headstone. That's what it's called. That man been dead almost 50 years.
Oh yeah. That's what he said about the hatred. That's why he's going to get judged the way he's going to get judged when the Lord of Hosts comes back, because of that hatred. They got that hatred just beyond imagination when it comes to Israelites, and they can't hide it. But like I said, the average person don't know none about this, so they don't see it. They don't see none of this because they're not awakened. Yeah. So I had a little topic. I was going to talk about Gaza. I'm just going to. I had talked about this before. The conversation came up about the land Israel, right? And so if you go back in ancient times, when Israel got there in the land, the Philistines was already there. And so where did the Philistines live? Gaza. Gaza was their capital city. Gaza. So Gaza is in the Old Testament. So everybody trying to figure out who have rights to the land, more rights to the land, whether it's these Zionists or these Israelis that came there, or the Palestinians. What the Palestinians is DNA is tied to the Philistines. So let me play that. Just a little bit of it. We got 15 minutes. Okay.
Formed a new nation, and it increased America. At the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C. was a special.
There you go.
The land of Palestine, a region steeped in rich history and cultural diversity, has been a crossroads of civilizations for millennia. Today, it stands at the heart of one of the most enduring and complex conflicts in the world. Who are the Palestinians? This question takes us on a journey beyond current geopolitical debates to the very roots of historical identity and genetic ancestry.
Nobody want to deal with this.
In this video, we will explore the historical origins of the Palestinian people and examine their connections with other Mediterranean. Our exploration will uncover unexpected links and shared ancestries.
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube. And
our journey starts with the Canaan region, delving into its rich yet concise history. Today, this region is parts of modern-day Israel, Palestine, Lebanon, and Syria. But thousands of years ago, it was a bustling center of ancient activity, a land where early civilizations flourished by the Mediterranean's bounteous shores. The Canaan region was home to a variety of groups in its early history, including the Amorites, Hittites, Phoenicians, Jebusites, Girgashites, and Hivites. These peoples established their settlements during the Bronze Age, a period spanning from around 3300 to 1200 BC. Early Canaanites rose to prominence during this period, establishing city-states, engaged in extensive trade networks, and developed their distinct culture, religion, and writing system. However, by the end of the Bronze Age, around 1200 BC, the region underwent substantial transformations, marked by the decline or destruction of numerous Canaanite city-states. In the Iron Age, the Canaan region experienced a significant shift, characterized by the rise of new groups and the evolution of existing Canaanite societies. The era saw the emergence of the Philistines, Israelites, Arameans, Moabites, Edomites, and Ammonites within the region. The successive reigns of empires like the Egyptian, Assyrian, Babylonian, Persian, Macedonian, Hellenistic, Roman, Sasanian, and Ottoman, as well as the early Islamic caliphates, Crusaders, and Mamluks, profoundly shaped the region's cultural and political landscape. These empires facilitated cultural exchanges, spread religions and languages, and influenced local customs and administrative systems. Significant events such as the Babylonian captivity of the Jews and the spreads of Christianity or Islam by the occupier powers had lasting impacts on the demographic and cultural composition of the region. The fall of the Ottoman Empire led to the British Empire taking control of the region in 1917. This transition saw an influx of Jewish immigrants. Rising tensions between the Jewish settlers and the Palestinian population ensued. In 1948, the State of Israel was established amidst these growing conflicts. It dramatically changed the region and led to the Israeli-Arab conflict and had profound implications for the Palestinian population, including displacement and territorial disputes. Having provided an overview of the region and its concise history, we revisit the question, who are the Palestinians? The term Palestinian has a complex etymology rooted in historical and geographical contexts. It is derived from the name Philistia, which was used in ancient times to describe the land of the Philistines, a people who settled in the southern coastal area of Canaan. The Philistines are believed to have originated from the Aegean region and arrived in Canaan around the 12th century BC. The biblical narrative portrays the Philistines as formidable foes of the Israelites. Over time, the name Philistia evolved into Palestina, a term used by the Romans after they conquered the region.
See that right there? That's what I'm saying. When you start talking about where the land is, but hell, there go the Philistines right there. You trying to figure out where the land is. The damn Philistines. Israel was shaking out the land. Gaza still the people that Gaza, that name you see all through the Old Testament, it's still there. You want to know where the land is? Okay.
in the 1st century BC. The Romans, following their tradition of renaming conquered territories, referred to the area as Syria Palestina, with Palestina becoming a more common reference during and after the Roman period. By renaming it, the Romans aimed to minimize Jewish claims to the land. The modern term Palestinian, as used to describe the Arab population of the Palestinian territories, came into more widespread use in the 20th century, particularly with the establishment of the British Mandate for Palestine in 1920. The term Palestinian today refers to the Arab population associated with the region historically known as Palestine, encompassing both a geographical and a national identity. As tensions escalate regarding territorial rights, both Jewish and Palestinian groups assert their legitimate claim to ownership of the land. Many Israelis claim a historical right to the land based on biblical narratives or concept of a divinely promised territory and Jewish history, which cite ancient Jewish kingdoms and continuous Jewish presence in the region over thousands of years. Israelis argue that the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948, recognized by international bodies including the United Nations, granted them legal sovereignty over the land. Most importantly, Israelis claim that Palestinians, as primarily descendants of Arabs who came to the region during the Islamic conquests, and they are undistinguishable from other Arabs and cannot claim the ownership of the land. On the other hand, Palestinians assert their claim to the land based on continuous habitation and governance over millennia, tracing their lineage to ancient peoples like the Canaanites and Philistines. Palestinians often refer to international law, including United Nations resolutions that recognize their right to self-determination and the illegality of occupation of Palestinian territories post-1967.
Yeah, so like I said, you want to watch it. You want to watch that. These Palestinians and their genetic link to the Canaanites, the Philistines, and the Jews. So when you watch it, you're gonna find out. Like I was saying before, we come to find out through the DNA search that they all kinfolk. Like I said, Esau got 12 sons, right? Esau got 12 sons. Jacob got 12 sons. Japheth got 7 or 8 sons. So they come to find out they all Gentiles. They all got their DNA markers in them, but to tell you that they Gentiles. So with that being said, anybody got any comments, questions about that before we go?
Salam, this is Tasha. I just have one quick comment. You know, one of the things he mentioned in that video was he talking about the Ottoman Empire. You know, if all of this is, I mean, it's just more and more of that just is opening up for me how the Ottoman Empire and the assassination got us into World War I. Remember, when Israel became a state, it had something to do with England allowing them to get that land, and there was some type of Berlin Accords, or I forgot what it was called.
Balfour Agreement.
Right, but the Ottoman Empire, that assassination is what brought us into World War I, and all of that stuff they did in Africa, and all of that is connected to what is going on right now today. Plus, what that man was talking about in the video.
Right. It's the Ottoman Empire is tied to the Crusades, and then right after that is when World War I broke out. Then Britain made an agreement with the Ottoman Empire because they all Edomites. So Then World War II came. After the end of World War II, that's when they had already made, they already had the plans in place that they was going to get the land over to those Jews, because they all Jews. So these wars, they was using these wars to advance their cause.
Right.
Exactly. Is there something? Before we go. Okay. So I enjoyed the class. So with that being said, I want to say shalom, everybody. We got our men's advanced Bible study tomorrow night on Clubhouse for on non-Messianic conversations. It start at 8 o'clock. So you want to come over there and check it out or whatever. It's good. So shalom. I'll see everybody tomorrow on Shabbat.
Shalom. Enjoyed the class.
Shalom,
Shalom.
everyone.
Okay.
Shalom. Really good class.
Shalom.